The second step in putting UDL to work is to engage your students. Here's more on that from Missy, a professor.
Strategies that I typically try to use to help students with diverse learning styles access the course information are varied and huge, kind of depending on the course that I'm teaching. It can be anything as minor as putting the rubrics and scoring guides on different colored paper so that everybody can find it really quickly, and they know I want them to be able to use it and use it as a check sheet before they turn something in to make sure that they've covered all those points that are important, and then I have them attach it to the front of the paper that they're turning in. I mean, it could be something that low tech and that simple to actually creating interactive slideshow presentations that are posted both on Blackboard and available ahead of time for students, to be engaged.
In that interview, Missy talks about methods she uses to keep her students involved. For example, she puts rubrics and scoring guides on different colored paper so that students can easily find them and use them as a checklist. She also mentions interactive slideshow presentations she posts on Blackboard, available to students ahead of upcoming classes. Let's watch a scene where Jeff, another professor, gets some advice on UDL. What kinds of pointers does he hear?
Jeff? What's going on?
Hey. Nothing.
I don't believe that.
I'm having the hardest time with my U.S. history class. I've taught that class for 15 years. The history hadn't changed. The U.S. maybe a little. I can't reach my students anymore.
I just had a conversation a couple of days ago with Beth Harrison about that.
Yeah, I know her.
I was having some issues with my class too.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that this universal design for learning, she taught me a little bit about how to do it, but it incorporates different learning styles into the same lesson so that it makes it easier to reach all of your students, like the ones who learn visually, the ones that learn best through hearing. And it surprises me, but I'm finding that it's really gotten me more interested in the work again. You might find that you reconnect with your subject matter in a different way when you look at it from different angles.
Okay.
And there's a workshop coming up
All right.
this week, and I believe the person that's going to do it is already here on campus.
Do you know what her name is?
Molly something.
Hi, my name happens to be Molly. What's your name?
Are you the UDL person?
I am. I'm a Universal Design Specialist. Molly
Hey,
Boyle.
I'm Bev Harp.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Molly. I'm Dr. Bradford.
Oh,
Good
nice
to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah.
You guys are interested in Universal Design?
We're both having some issues with our classes and would like to learn more about it.
I'm actually on my way to meet with some real experts on Universal Design and what works best in the classroom. Would you like to join me?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
All right, cool.
Then go ahead
Ladies
this way.
first.
All right. Okay, guys, I brought these two professors here, Professor Harp and Professor Bradford, and they are really interested in trying to learn from you what helps you as learners.
It really helps when the professors provide a lot of visuals, whether it's like graphs or even pictures, or in some of my classes, in the education classes, we'll even make our own visuals of like an example that they're teaching about.
By taking notes and go over the PowerPoint and jot down every note so I can remember.
When professors take what they have done in the past, I'm an education major, so I often hear about professors working in like an elementary setting, and they give us like stories that have happened to them. It's easier for me to understand than a textbook on how once I become a teacher, if I find myself in that same situation, I can then remember what they did and maybe apply that or even modify it to the situation, and so that will better help me.
My favorite professor was Dr. Guys. We listened to music a lot, watched some YouTubes, played stuff with us, like covers. I liked her work. Because somebody always has your back, and that is part of the assignment.
I picked Mrs. Herbert. She's my teacher for University 101. She taught us to talk to people in front of class. We talked to small groups. We did field trips at NKU, and we got involved in recreation, and basketball games.
Near the beginning of the semester, ask your students, what learning strategies do you prefer in the classroom? Which ones do you avoid? Why? Remember, your students are experts on their own learning preferences, so take advantage of their experience. Here's something else to keep in mind. Studies have shown that 90% of all students are no longer paying attention to a lecture after 20 minutes, so you'll need to use multiple means of engagement to keep learners involved. This means diversifying your instruction frequently. You can even set up a timer in class to make sure you switch things up often enough.
Having the diverse learners in my classroom helps make me a better teacher. I have to think on a broader scale in how I am delivering the content, how students are receiving that information and understanding it. So often it challenges me to think outside my comfort zone or the routine that I get in terms of delivering that information.
Consider including group work, lectures, and hands-on experiences in all of your class sessions. Provide multiple opportunities for students to practice what they're learning in class before you assess them. Provide culturally responsive choices of content and tools. The diversity of your students' experiences is a valuable asset, so integrate those experiences into the literature and resources you use. Write activities that include examples from your community or the community of specific students. Allow students to audio record your lectures. This especially helps English language learners or students who may need more time to process information. Use graphic organizers. These tools, also called concept maps, help students study a specific topic. They can also help visual learners chunk information. Graphic organizers can be blank sheets that students complete during a lecture. Or you can give them completed graphs to help them understand the organization of a particular topic. Bottom line, when you diversify your instruction, you'll show students that you recognize the variance in their learning styles, and you're setting high expectations for everyone's success.
So what do you guys think?
It seems like a lot of these things are techniques that we already use, only now that I've heard it from the students themselves, I kind of understand how to do it better.
How about you?
Well, what I think is cool about this is that, you need to go to your students and ask them what their learning style is, and I hadn't thought about that.
At first it takes a little bit of time to figure out what you're going to do, but after you start doing this, you'll find that it really improves the teaching that you do and the student outcomes.
I'm glad you brought us here.
These are the experts.
Mm-hmm.
To learn more about UDL, visit our website, Think College Learn. Thanks for watching.